Hello everyone, I'm author Gabriela Kikwaki, and for those of you who don't know me, I've been writing books since the age of 11, and now I'm currently on a book tour across Europe in order to promote my newest book, Asparians, Guardians of the Elements. So today I'll be talking a little bit about my passion for writing all these stories, my inspirations, my accomplishments, and I'll be showing you guys all the books that I've written so far, as well as a message for you, the readers, and then I'll be answering some of your questions. So my passion for writing really began at the age of 8, where I used to write in my journals about my days, used to read a lot of stories and write a bunch of fantasy stories about fairies and mermaids. And in the first grade, every Friday, our teacher would give us the last 1 or 2 hours left before school ended to do what we wanted, and some kids would bring board games or video games. But during that time, I decided to write some stories. And when I was 11 during the pandemic, on a Saturday where I had nothing to do, I decided to get back into my writing habits because it's been a long time since I've written something that I liked. And that's how at the age of 11, I published and wrote my first ever bilingual book series, A Link Between Two Worlds, Un lien entre deux mondes. And now at the age of 15, I'm an author with 7 published books and 2 awards. So here are my accomplishments. I won a certificate of excellence in literature of children for my first ever bilingual book series, A Link Between Two Worlds, Un lien entre deux mondes. And in February, I won the Essence and Culture Awards in the Visual Arts and Literature section. And I've done multiple book signings across North America and here in Europe. And my inspirations for writing all of my stories kind of varies depending on which one, but for my first ever bilingual book series, my inspiration was my fascination of the galaxy and the mysteries that are in there, like parallel universes, wormholes, etc. And nowadays, listening to instrumental fantasy music helps me create scenes for my stories. For example, if it's a fighting scene, I'll listen to more heavy music, or if it's a sad scene, then I'm going to listen to quieter music. And also looking at beautiful artwork and scenery can help me with my ideas as well. And now I'll be showing you guys all the books that I've published so far, and we're going to start off with my first ever bilingual book series, A Link Between Two Worlds. So there are a total of 4 volumes, but the first and second volume are in the same book. The titles of each book is Together Forever, Ensemble pour Toujours, The Nightmare Begins, and Le Cauchemar Commence. And there are a total of 4 volumes. The series was first published on January 29th, 2021, and the last book was published June 14th of 2021. It's in French and English, and I wrote this story at the age of 11. So I'm going to quickly read you guys a synopsis of it. Who would have thought a regular summer day could lead to Laura and her friend Revan discovering a whole new universe? So this story is basically about how Alora figures out that she has a sister on a parallel universe, and together they have to try their best to stop their universes from merging before chaos and destruction looms over the galaxy. Our next book is a standalone, and it's not a part of a series. It's only in English, and it's called A Twisted Destiny, Write the Story Within. So this story, I also wrote it at the age of 11, and it was published on September 19th of 2021. And the synopsis is 2 goddesses, one of light and one of darkness. What would happen if you were bestowed with the dark destiny, a destiny where you were the monster? Ela was forced to become the goddess of eternal deception, a goddess of darkness. So this story centers more around how Ela, our protagonist, has to try her best to change her destiny, and by doing that, she has to go on this adventure to find this magical amulet called the Amulet of Truth that will allow her to change her destiny so she doesn't have to become evil. And my 5th book is the beginning of another series, which is in French and English, and it's called Survival of the Glitches, Survivre aux Problèmes Techniques. The first volume was published on January 28th of 2022. It's in French and English, and once again, I also wrote this book at the age of 11. The synopsis is they're everywhere watching you, preying on you. The world was normal before they arrived. These creatures known as the glitches won't stop until everything is corrupted. So this story is more apocalyptic as it centers around how Kia, the main character, and her 6 companions have to try their best to survive in this world that is corrupted by an infection known as the glitch, and hopefully they'll be able to find an antidote, or else they'll forever be trapped in this world. And my sixth book, which came out last year, Whispering Willow, Seul Chuchotant, is a standalone, and it's also in French and English. So I wrote this book at the age of 12, but then I rewrote it again at the age of 13 to make sure that everything was cohesive and it made sense. It was published on June 6th of 2023, and the synopsis reads, Gabri's been brought into a world that she has long forgotten. Her family, her friends, and the way she lived all gone except for the memory of her name. Lost in a world she does not remember and guided by strangers and a whisper that does not leave her, she soon learns about a tree with the power to return memories. So this story is about how Gabri lost all of her memories, so she has amnesia, and she wakes up in this magical world called Enchantia, and she has to try and find the Whispering Willow in order to gain her memories before she loses herself forever. And here is an illustration from inside the book that showcases all the characters. We have our protagonist Gabri and the other companions that she makes along the way. And now for my newest book, Asperians, Guardians of the Elements, Asperiens, Gardiens des Éléments, which was just published almost a month ago. And I'm going to quickly read the synopsis. So 500 years ago, elemental crystals belonging to the 13 Guardians of Elements have been scattered across Eleanor, and now they call on a new generation to arise. So basically, this story is about how Rael finds the diary of this guardian that existed a long time ago, and the diary is telling her that she has to go on this adventure to find 13 elemental crystals in order to stop these monsters called Aurelias from attacking her world. And throughout the novel, Rael finds a bunch of these friends, and they go on this journey to find all the elemental crystals. And this is just the first volume, so it's going to be a series. And I'm going to show you guys all the drawings of each of the characters that I've done so far, which will be in the second volume. So we have our protagonist, Rael Roselia, and we have a few of the companions she makes along the way, Sue, Mitsune, Frey, Malachi, and we also have her two closest friends in the story, Aki Hatsuko and Kira Isha. And then we also have the two guardians that she meets that are somehow still alive. There's Willow, Soleil, and Evan Volo. And then there are also the bad guys that they face throughout the story, which are called Aurelias. These aren't the pictures of all of them; they're just the four Aurelias that you meet in the first volume. So there's Edgar, Azazel, Solaire, and Silver. And here is a little drawing that I put together of me cosplaying as the main character, Rael. And a little message for you guys, the readers, is to continue to persevere till the end, and you will reach your dreams. The path will certainly not be easy, but you will make it if you keep on trying. So my sources are that all the background images, except for my illustrations and my books, were found on Google. And thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?